fourth step is that you collect the data and perform the analysis. So you don't need to collect the data for your task because I already provided you with the data set. Now let's perform the analysis. Let's use SPSS. I am going to show first an example. Is there a significant difference between male and female in terms of their pretest? I used a different color for male and female. This one denotes your independent variable. Okay, so male and female are the categories for the independent variable sex. Okay, and the blue one is your dependent variable. This is how we format the question. Is there a significant difference between, you mentioned the categories. There must be two only for this particular case, because we're using between, right? In terms of their blank, the blue one must be another variable. For this case, it's dependent variable. So you can think of other variables to fill in the blank. Say, is there a significant difference between employed and unemployed individuals in terms of their level of satisfaction? Something like that. Is there a significant difference between wives and husbands in terms of their income? There you go. So you may fill in the blank. But there is another way of stating the question. You may use this format. Is there a significant difference in blank when grouped according to blank? So the first blank will pertain to your dependent variable and the second blank will be the independent variable. So you may replace that with other variables such as, is there a significant difference in students' grade when grouped according to any grouping variable, say educational attainment of the father, or sex, or year level, or eye color, hair color, so or any grouping variable. You just have to make sure that this one will be a grouping variable, a nominal variable that will generate categories. Okay, clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, let me just share with you a note regarding the use of the word significant. In other institutions, the word significant is no longer included in the statement of the question. But let me just tell you why we need to write it there. It's actually a common practice here at West Visayas State University. Now, for example, if you have a male and female, so we have here male and female. If you will compute the pretest mean score, for sure there will be a difference. You say male will get 8. This is just an example. And female will get 7. For sure there is a difference. For this example, we have a difference of 1. So if you ask, for example, without the word significant, is there a difference between male and female in terms of their pretest? Well, the answer is yes. The difference is 1. But if you will include the word significant, is there a significant difference between male and female in terms of their pretest? What we are asking in here is that, is this difference of 1 in their pretest score be also the same to the difference that we can see in the population? Because what we have here is just data coming from the sample. So is this difference in the sample be also true in the population? So that's why we need to include the word significant. That's the practice here in the university. But if in case you will encounter a research article with no significant in the question, that's okay. It is just assumed that the difference being referred to by the author is actually the significant difference. We have these 5 steps. Let me state the hypothesis. This is my favorite part. Step 2, state the level of significance. So that's alpha is equal to 5% or 0.05. But as I mentioned a while ago, as emphasized by the question of William, 5% may change. You may also use 3% or 1%. Choose the statistical tool. So assuming that the distribution is normal, we use t-test for independent samples. Why? Because we are comparing two groups, male and female. And we are also having a scale variable as the dependent variable. So we use t-test, a parametric test. So we collect the data and perform the analysis. That's step number 4. So this is how you will do the analysis in SPSS. You click Analyze, you choose Compare Means, and you choose Independent Samples t-test. Okay, so for paired samples t-test, it's also here. For one-way ANOVA, you can also find it here. Okay, so that's the step. So let's click Analyze, choose compare means, and choose Independent Samples t-test. There you go. Remember, we are comparing male and female, so sex will be the grouping variable. Now there are 2 question marks here. We need to define the groups. Remember that when we entered the data in SPSS, we assigned numbers to the different categories. Why do we need to assign numbers? Because these numbers are needed in this type of analysis. So group 1, we used 1. Group 2, we used 2. So you may use any other number to represent male and female. Because in SPSS, we cannot type male and female here. We just have to use the numbers that we assign to male and female respectively. So let's click continue. We need to input our test variable. That is the dependent variable. And as included in the research question, that's the pretest. So click arrow. So we have pretest as test variable, we have sex as grouping variable, and we have defined the groups, and these are 1 and 2. And click OK. There you go. The output window will appear. By default, the output window will also show the descriptive statistics. The descriptive statistics, these are the mean and standard deviation, as well as the sample size. So from this table, we know that we have 14 male students, 16 female students, and the male has higher pretest, which is 4.57 compared to the female, and the mean is just 3.88. As you can see here, there is indeed a difference in the pretest, but we need to check, is this difference significant? The sig value here is simply a guide on which row you are supposed to report, the first row or the second row. So it's greater than 0.05. So we do not reject HO. We assume that the variances are equal. So we use this first row. So this is the p-value. This is the uh, degree of freedom. Okay, the degree of freedom. When we compute the sample size, this is actually 30. Now when we add 14 and 16, 30 minus 2. Why 2? Because we have 2 groups. So 30 minus 2 is 28. So that's the degree of freedom. What I want you to focus on is this sig2 tail. This one, it's 0.36. That's the value of your P. So this is step number 4. We report. We report. This is the structure. So in ANOVA, the structure is going to be different. In t-test for paired samples, generally this is also the structure. So we're done with number 4. We have collected the data. We have performed the analysis. Actually, when you report or share your analysis, you just have to demonstrate how to do number 4. Okay. Um, in number 5, or you may show a screenshot like this one to show number 4. So for number 5, report the results and state the conclusion. Um, this is now step number 5. So this is the result. Now, what is our conclusion? What is our conclusion? Are we going to reject HO? Are we not going to reject HO? What do you think? P is greater
Not
than 0.05.
reject.
Do not
Reject?
Not
reject.
reject.
So our conclusion is we do
Greater.
not reject HO. Well,
We
ideally,
accept.
so
Mm.
we reject HO. So our conclusion is now going to be HA. Our conclusion is there is a significant difference between male and female in terms of their pretest.